Imagine walking into your own bank, only to be treated like you don't belong. That's exactly what happened to Jessica, the CEO of Summit Financial, when she tried to access her account. But the manager had no idea who he was dealing with, and by the time he realized his mistake, it was already too late. Jessica Mitchell, the CEO of Summit Financial, had built her bank on a foundation of fairness, integrity, and a clear vision for success. She believed leadership wasn't about authority or seniority, but about setting the right example, and she expected her employees to uphold the same values. But on this particular day, she was about to face a reality that was the complete opposite. That Thursday afternoon, Jessica strode toward the downtown branch of her own bank, her pace steady and purposeful. The city pulsed with life around her, cars honking, pedestrians rushing by, the energy of ambition thick in the air. As she approached the sleek, glass-fronted building, towering skyscrapers mirrored its surface, a reflection of the financial world she had spent years mastering. But inside those doors, an unexpected challenge awaited, one that would put her leadership to the test. The automatic doors slid open with a soft whoosh, welcoming her into a space designed for efficiency and professionalism. The branch's modern interior gleamed with polished marble floors, reflecting the warm glow of recessed LED lighting. Conversations hummed in the background, punctuated by the soft beeps of transactions being processed. It was business as usual, or so it seemed. Dressed casually in jeans and a blazer, her dark hair pulled back in a ponytail, Jessica blended in with the other patrons. She wasn't there for a board meeting or any formal affair. She needed to make a simple withdrawal from her personal account, something she assumed would be a mundane task. As she approached the teller counter, she noticed the staff busily assisting other customers. She waited patiently, observing the efficiency with which transactions were being handled. Her attention to customer service and operational excellence was evident in the smooth functioning of the branch. Finally, a young teller with the name tag Elaine finished with her previous customer and turned her attention to Jessica. "How may I assist you today?" she asked with a practiced smile, unaware of whom she was addressing. "I need to make a withdrawal from my personal account," Jessica replied, extending her ID and the filled-out withdrawal slip across the counter. Elaine took the documents, giving them a cursory glance before her eyes widened slightly, a reaction she quickly subdued. "Please give me a moment to process this," she said, her voice betraying a hint of nervousness as she tapped away at her keyboard. Jessica nodded, her gaze wandering over the layout of the branch. She took pride in the design and functionality of her banks, each element curated to enhance customer experience. The open layout, the private consultation areas, and the quick service stations all reflected her vision. Minutes passed, and Jessica's straightforward transactions seemed to stall. Elaine appeared increasingly uneasy, typing intermittently, and then pausing to look at the screen with furrowed brows. Jessica's intuition, honed by years at the helm of Summit Financial, sensed that something was off. Elaine finally stood up, excusing herself. "I need to consult with our manager for a moment. Please bear with me," she said, her tone apologetic. As Jessica waited, she felt the efficiency she so valued slipping through the cracks. She tapped her foot lightly, a clear sign of her growing impatience, her eyes scanning the bustling branch. It was then that she noticed other customers receiving quicker service, their interactions straightforward and unencumbered. The delay grew longer, and with it, Jessica's concern deepened. This was not the standard she had set. This was not the service she envisioned for her customers, regardless of their status or the complexity of their needs. Finally, Elaine returned, accompanied by the branch manager, a middle-aged man named Tom Clarkson. His approach was hesitant, his eyes flicking between Jessica's paperwork and her face as he neared. "Good afternoon," Tom greeted, his voice overly formal. "I understand there's a withdrawal request. However, we need to go through some additional verification. It's standard procedure for significant amounts." Jessica's eyebrows knit together in confusion. The amount she requested wasn't substantial by any banking standard, merely a few $1,000s. "I'm not sure I understand the delay," she stated, her tone firm but polite. "It's a simple withdrawal." Tom took her ID and the slip, examining them as though expecting to find an issue. "We have to ensure all protocols are followed," he explained, his voice implying more than what he was willing to state outright. This response did not satisfy Jessica. Her creation, Summit Financial, was built on transparency and efficiency, values she felt were being compromised in that very moment. "I appreciate the need for security," she responded, her voice steady, "but I also expect efficient service, especially when the requirements of the transaction are straightforward." Tom nodded, though his eyes avoided hers. "Of course, I just need to double-check a few things." "It won't take long," he assured her, though his hesitant tone suggested otherwise. As Jessica stood at the counter, her mind raced through potential reasons for this unusual scrutiny. Was it her attire, her lack of formal identification beyond the necessary? Or was there something more systemic at play, a flaw in her well-oiled machine? She watched as Tom retreated to a back office, her documents in hand, leaving her to ponder the implications of this encounter. This branch, like every Summit Financial location, was a testament to her life's work, a work she now feared was being undermined by the very people entrusted to uphold it. The wait stretched on, and the lobby's buzz morphed into a tense silence around her. Jessica's presence at the counter became a spectacle, other customers casting curious glances her way. The scene was set for a confrontation that could unravel not just a personal transaction, but a foundational philosophy of her entire enterprise. As she stood there, poised yet unsettled, Jessica realized that this incident could be a pivotal moment, not just for her personally, but for the entire chain of Summit Financial. What unfolded next would not only test her resolve, but could redefine the very fabric of her company's customer service ethos. As the minutes ticked by, Jessica's initial patience transformed into a simmering frustration. The branch, once a symbol of efficiency and customer care, now felt like a battleground where her own principles were being challenged. She crossed her arms, her posture reflecting her growing unease. Tom Clarkson finally emerged from the back office, his expression unreadable. He approached Jessica with a cautious step, the documents held tightly in his hand as if they were delicate evidence in a trial. "Thank you for your patience, Miss Mitchell," he began, his tone overly formal. "I've reviewed your request and everything seems in order, but for security reasons, I must ask you a few additional questions." Jessica's brow furrowed. "Additional questions? I'm not sure I understand the need for further verification. It's a straightforward withdrawal." Tom nodded slowly. "It's just our protocol for withdrawals of this nature. Could you please confirm the purpose of this withdrawal, and if you expect to make similar transactions in the future?" Jessica paused, taken aback by the intrusive nature of the questions. "The purpose of my withdrawal should not impact its processing," she replied sharply. "And yes, as the CEO of Summit Financial, I might make similar transactions, but I fail to see how that is relevant here." Tom's eyes briefly flickered with surprise at her mention of being the CEO, but he quickly masked his reaction. "I understand, but we have to ensure all our transactions are secure and justified." "Justified?" Jessica echoed, her tone laced with disbelief. Our other customers questioned about the justification of their transactions to this extent. Tom hesitated, his discomfort becoming evident. "It's a standard procedure across all branches," he replied, though his voice lacked conviction. Jessica shook her head, her frustration clear. "I find that hard to believe, Tom. This is not the standard of service I've established for Summit Financial. I'm here not just as the CEO but as a customer, and I expect the same level of respect and efficiency we promise to everyone who walks through our doors." The branch manager's posture stiffened at her words. "Of course, Miss Mitchell, I apologize for any inconvenience. I will process your withdrawal immediately." As Tom turned to complete the transaction, Jessica's mind raced. This encounter was revealing more than just a breach in service standards. It hinted at a possible deeper issue within her organization. Was this an isolated incident, or were others experiencing similar treatment? Determined to understand the full scope of the problem, Jessica decided to use this experience as an impetus for a larger review of customer interactions across all branches. But first, she needed to resolve the current situation. Tom returned, handing her the cash along with her ID. "Here you go, Miss Mitchell. Again, I apologize for any misunderstanding." Jessica accepted her ID and the cash, her expression neutral. "Thank you, Tom. I appreciate your cooperation, but I will be taking this matter further." This has been enlightening about how our policies are being implemented on the ground. Tom nodded, a trace of worry crossing his features. "Understood, Miss Mitchell. We always strive to improve." Jessica turned to leave, her mind already formulating the steps she would take next. She would start with a quiet investigation into customer service practices across the network. If there were systemic issues, she would address them swiftly and decisively. As she walked out of the branch, the weight of her role as CEO felt heavier than when she had entered. This incident had not just been a personal inconvenience, it was a crack in the foundation she had built. But she was resolved to mend it, to ensure that her vision for Summit Financial was not just a set of guidelines but a reality at every level. The drive back to her office was a quiet one, giving her ample time to reflect on the actions she needed to take. Upon arriving, she convened an impromptu meeting with her senior management team, outlining the incident and expressing her concerns. "I was treated today not as the CEO, but as a suspect in my own bank," Jessica shared, her voice firm. "This is unacceptable. I want a full review of our customer service protocols and the training of our staff. We need to ensure that our values are not just words on a paper, but practices in action." The team listened intently, their expressions a mix of surprise and concern. They agreed to initiate an immediate audit of customer service operations and to retrain staff where necessary. Jessica ended the meeting with a decisive statement: "Let this be a lesson to us all. Summit Financial is more than a bank, it's a promise of fairness, efficiency, and respect, and I intend to keep that promise." As the meeting adjourned, Jessica felt a renewed sense of purpose. The challenge was significant, but so was her determination. True leadership isn't measured by success alone, but by how one overcomes setbacks, and she was ready to turn this moment into a stepping stone for greater trust and integrity across her company. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Your support allows us to share more powerful stories like this one. Now, let's dive back into the mystery surrounding Jessica. After leaving the bank, Jessica Mitchell's mind was in turmoil, yet her resolve was clearer than ever. She knew this incident was not just a personal affront, but a symptom of a potential systemic issue that could undermine the very foundations of Summit Financial. It was a realization that spurred her into action, not just for her own dignity, but for the integrity of her entire organization. The next day, Jessica arrived early at the headquarters, her agenda set on transforming this negative experience into a catalyst for positive change across the entire bank. She convened a special session with her top executives and the compliance department, determined to drill down to the root of the problem and enforce a corrective course. "As many of you are aware, I experienced significant delays and undue scrutiny at one of our branches yesterday," Jessica began, her tone serious but composed. "This is not about a delayed transaction. This is about whether our bank, Summit Financial, truly upholds the values we cherish." The room was filled with attentive faces, some aware of the details, others shocked to hear of the treatment their CEO had received. "I want to use this incident as a turning point for us," Jessica continued. "We need to ensure that our customer service is not only efficient, but also respectful and fair, irrespective of who the customer is or appears to be." Jessica outlined her plan for a comprehensive audit of all customer interactions across the network. This would not just be a routine check, but a deep dive into the policies, training procedures, and the actual execution at every branch. The audit will focus on the adherence to our customer service standards and the respect for customer rights, she explained. "We need to understand where the breakdown occurred and why a routine withdrawal led to any customer, being questioned like a suspect." Her team listened, taking notes and nodding in agreement. The gravity of the situation was clear, and the need for action was undeniable. As the meeting progressed, Jessica introduced a new initiative, a series of workshops and seminars on customer service excellence and ethical behavior. "We will bring in experts in customer relations and ethics to train our staff from tellers to branch managers," she declared. "It's essential that our employees not only understand our policies, but also the spirit behind them." The response was overwhelmingly positive. The team rallied around her vision, proposing additional measures such as regular anonymous visits to branches by management team members to ensure policies were being properly implemented. Jessica also addressed the need for a better feedback mechanism where both customers and staff could report issues without fear of reprisal. "We need a transparent system where feedback is encouraged and acted upon," she emphasized. "It's about accountability at all levels." As the meeting concluded, Jessica felt a sense of accomplishment. She had turned a personal challenge into an opportunity to reinforce the bank's values and operational integrity. But more than that, she felt a deeper commitment to her role, not just as a CEO, but as a guardian of the values she had instilled in her company. With the plan set in motion, Jessica spent the next few weeks actively involved in the audit and training sessions. She visited branches, spoke with staff, and participated in training workshops. Her presence sent a strong message that she was personally committed to upholding the standards she expected. Her efforts did not go unnoticed. Customers began to send in their feedback, often noting improvements in service and a more respectful and attentive approach from staff. The changes were palpable, not just in procedures but in the morale of the employees. They felt part of a renewed mission, a mission to serve with integrity and respect. A few months later, Jessica's initiative had transformed the bank's culture. The improvements were not just on paper, but in the everyday interactions that defined the experience of banking with Summit Financial. The branch that had once tested her patience and resolve now stood as a testament to her commitment to change and fairness. Jessica knew that true change takes time and constant effort, but as she reviewed the progress reports and customer feedback, she felt assured that Summit Financial was on the right path. She had not only safeguarded her bank's integrity, but had also deepened the trust between Summit Financial and its customers. As Jessica Mitchell's initiatives began to reshape Summit Financial's culture, she kept a close eye on the branch where her ordeal had unfolded. Her resolve had strengthened, not just to amend policies, but to ensure that every employee represented the values she espoused. It was time to address the incident that had sparked this transformative journey directly. One morning, Jessica decided to revisit the branch unannounced. She wanted to see firsthand whether the changes had been implemented and how the staff, especially the manager, Tom Clarkson, were adapting. Her arrival was low-key. She entered the branch just as any other customer would, observing the operations without drawing attention to herself. The branch was busier than usual, a buzz of activity at every service point. Jessica watched as customers were treated with courtesy and transactions were handled efficiently. It seemed the new training was taking effect, a fact that brought a small smile to her face. However, she reserved her judgment, knowing that the true test was yet to come. She approached the teller line, where she was greeted promptly by a new face, a young teller who introduced herself as Marion. "How can I assist you today?" Marion asked with a genuine smile. Jessica returned the smile, requesting a meeting with the branch manager under the pretext of discussing an investment opportunity. Marion nodded and excused herself to fetch Tom Clarkson. Moments later, Tom appeared, his demeanor cautious as he approached Jessica. He recognized her immediately, his face paling slightly as he realized the nature of this investment meeting. "Miss Mitchell, it's a surprise to see you here," Tom stammered, offering a handshake that Jessica accepted firmly. "Tom, I'm here to follow up on the changes we've discussed extensively after my last visit," Jessica said, cutting to the chase. "Let's talk in your office." Once in the office, Jessica began without preamble. "Tom, the last time I was here, I experienced something that no customer should ever go through, let alone the CEO of the bank. Tell me, what have you learned from that incident?" Tom swallowed hard, his hands clasped tightly in front of him. "I've learned a great deal, Miss Mitchell. About humility, about our core values, and about how every customer deserves respect, regardless of their status or the size of their transaction." Jessica listened intently, nodding slightly. "And what steps have you personally taken to ensure this branch reflects those values?" Tom detailed the training he had undergone, the changes in branch protocols, and his personal commitment to improving customer interactions. He was earnest in his explanations, hoping to demonstrate his transformation. Jessica appreciated his efforts but remained firm. "Tom, while I value your efforts to change, the reality is that the leadership here sets the tone for the entire branch. Your actions that day were not just a lapse in judgment, they were a breach of our trust and ethics." Tom's face fell, the gravity of the situation settling upon him. "I understand, Miss Mitchell. I am deeply sorry for what occurred." Jessica stood, her decision clear. "Tom, I have to think about what's best for our customers and our staff. Effective immediately, I'm letting you go. We need a leader who embodies our values from the get-go." Tom nodded slowly, accepting the decision with a heavy heart. "I understand. I'm truly sorry for any harm I caused." Jessica softened slightly. "I believe in second chances, Tom, but also in accountability. I hope you take this as a learning experience." With that, Jessica left the office. She instructed HR to handle Tom's departure with dignity and to support him through the transition. Her next step was to meet with the remaining staff, reinforcing the importance of the changes and announcing the appointment of a new interim manager who had demonstrated a deep commitment to customer service excellence. As Jessica addressed the team, she reiterated her commitment to transparency and integrity. The staff responded positively, rallying around the renewed focus on customer care and respect. Jessica left the branch knowing that while difficult, her decision was necessary for the health of the organization. The news of Tom's dismissal spread quickly, not just within the bank, but also across the financial industry. It served as a stark reminder of the importance of leadership in shaping corporate culture. Jessica's actions reaffirmed her dedication to her values and her willingness to make tough decisions to uphold them. In the weeks following the dismissal of the branch manager, Jessica Mitchell observed a palpable shift in the atmosphere at Summit Financial. The decision to uphold the bank's values so decisively resonated not only within the branch where the incident occurred, but across the entire organization. It served as a powerful reminder of the standards Jessica had set and her unwavering commitment to enforcing them. To cement these changes, Jessica launched a company-wide initiative titled Renewal of Commitment. This program was designed to continuously reinforce the bank's core values through regular workshops, surprise audits, and feedback sessions with employees at all levels. It wasn't just about maintaining standards, but about fostering an environment where excellence in customer service was the norm, not the exception. The initiative also included a new customer feedback system, which allowed clients to directly report their experiences at any branch. This direct line to the top ensured that any discrepancies in service quality were quickly identified and addressed. It empowered customers, giving them a voice that could lead to immediate action and change. Jessica also established an annual award for the best-performing branches, recognizing exceptional customer service and adherence to the bank's values. This not only motivated the staff, but also created a sense of healthy competition among branches, driving them to improve and innovate in how they served clients. Several months later, at the annual company conference, Jessica stood before her employees, investors, and several key industry players. She took the opportunity to reflect on the past year, the challenges, the changes, and most importantly, the triumphs. Her speech highlighted the critical moments that had tested the company's resolve and the collective effort to overcome them. Ladies and gentlemen, this past year has been a defining one for Summit Financial, Jessica began, her voice resonant with the confidence and clarity of a seasoned leader. We faced challenges that tested our values to their core, but instead of letting these challenges weaken us, we used them to strengthen our resolve and our commitment to our customers. She continued, the Renewal of Commitment initiative has transformed the way we operate. We've seen remarkable improvements in customer satisfaction and employee engagement. Our branches no longer just follow policies, they live by them. As Jessica spoke, the screens behind her displayed graphs and testimonials, showing marked improvements in customer service ratings and feedback. The narrative was clear. Summit Financial was setting a new industry standard. We are not just a financial institution, we are a community partner and a model of ethical business, Jessica declared. Our commitment to integrity and respect is unwavering, and we will continue to lead by example. We expect not just to meet, but to exceed the expectations of our customers and our communities. The applause that followed was not just an appreciation of her speech, but a celebration of the renewed spirit of a company that had come back stronger from adversity. As the conference concluded, Jessica felt a deep sense of pride and accomplishment. She had steered her company through turbulent waters with her decisive actions and her commitment to transparency and integrity. Summit Financial was more than just a bank. It was a testament to the power of values-driven leadership. Looking forward, Jessica was determined to ensure that the lessons learned were not forgotten. Renewal of Commitment was not just a program, but a perpetual ethos that would guide Summit Financial into the future. Jessica's leadership not only restored faith in her company, but also set a benchmark for the industry, showing that true leadership comes from the courage to uphold one's values, even in the face of adversity. Thank you for watching. We hope this story has inspired you as much as it has motivated us to uphold the highest standards of service and integrity. Remember, real change starts with one step, and together, we can make a difference. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video to help spread the message of positive transformation.